Also, it's my mom's birthday today. So, yeah, it's my mom's birthday today.
How's it going, homies? If you thought the Tophiachu saga was going to improve, you'd be sadly mistaken. It's gotten much worse. On what should be a happy day, Mamachu's birthday, where maybe Tophiachu goes out, finds a thunderstone, evolve out of infancy, or I don't know, get a job. But no, homies, Tophiachu isn't doing something as nonsensical as that. She's intelligent, a PhD standard of marketing. Since it's her mom's birthday, Tophiachu is going live and reminding everyone she's a wild Tophiachu with no Papachu and no more apartments willing to accept them. So please buy Tophiachu things off her Amazon wishlist. Oh wait, I mean Mamachu. Buy Mamachu things off Tophiachu's Amazon wishlist. Which, funnily enough, during the live, had no essentials on it, just basically stuff for Tophiachu to have fun with. But trust her guys, it was all for Mamachu. As Papachu infamously tweeted, Tophiachu is a sweet girl. If you know, you know. But in the meantime, Tophiachu will livestream aimlessly as Brotherchus drives, complaining about Squidchu. Well, they all complained about Squidchu, but mainly Tophiachu and Daniel Larson, and the best of all, bragging about how much Tophiachu makes off TikTok. But let's begin where Tophiachu is happily accepting gifts for Mamachu's birthday.
They got this extension cord, which I can't use right now, but I'm going to take it with me because I could use it somewheres. And it has a USB on it, like...
Because we can't use that stuff, they're going to buy it.
But I can use the spray, the body spray. That I can use. Mom.
What?
They said happy birthday.
Tell them thank you.
She said thank you. I can put a house on my wish list. Why would you buy that? I could literally buy that Amazon house. I don't know if it's a Tesla house. I wouldn't buy it if it's Tesla. But it's a $10,000 house. And it has I think 1 bedroom, 1 living room, 1 bathroom. And there's a certain place you have to put it, though. I don't know if you have to have land or anything, but... yeah, my hygiene's good. I've been getting a shower. I'm not going to let people know where I've been going, but yeah, my hygiene's good. I take care of myself. I'm able to change my clothes. I'm able to do a lot of hygienic things. Although people don't think I can, I do. I have to. Sorry, you guys. I gotta be aware of my surroundings. So that's why sometimes I get distracted when I see something. I'm like, better watch. Anyways, I know how people feel about me.
I'm pretty sure it was the last video. I was kinda joking about Tophiachu being totally down to abandon her family. But with her low-key hinting to her chat that she's been hustling and grinding and earning fans along the way, and maybe one of her viewers, who is most definitely rich, should buy her a house that can only room 1 person. Like, I guarantee you guys, in my own opinion, if the opportunity was there, she'd abandon every single one of them. And yeah, Tophiachu, you need to own land to put property on. Not many people would let you literally shack up on theirs for free. But I guess we can't forget Tophiachu believes in the squatter movement with all of her heart. You can't take that away from her, but when it comes to her and her family, a woman in her 30s, you'd be like, yeah, this is the movie moment where she starts making her own choices. But for Tophiachu, it's more like you got your entire family there. You better help them out before you move on with your own life. But Tophiachu isn't the hero of any story. During this recording, I wanted to keep it in so bad, but the audio was so messed up, chunking it up made it seem out of place, so I had no choice but to take it out. But while recording this, Tophiachu was sitting on a pillow because it was her time of the month. That's the point of depravity we're at. Forget the motel dumping. Tophiachu has pushed herself to new points of humility, but can't even recognize it. She's still down to talk down to people, talk about how much money she makes, put down Squid Chew a little bit, and she's also got to keep it in the car as well. You never know when a wild Squid Chew will try and absorb all of your TikTok clout. She's not going to let that happen again.
But I still haven't heard anything. I don't know what happened to the girl. I don't know if she's okay. I don't know if she was abducted. I don't know what happened because I was asleep. And I was having like this dream. It was like a weird dream. There was a lady that was mad at her boyfriend because we were at my grandma's house and this girl pulled up and I guess her boyfriend was there. And I was like still kind of dreaming because I was like, wait a minute. Like, am I dreaming or am I awake, right? I was awake and I heard legit bloody screaming. Like this girl was legit screaming. And then I heard, get off me. And then I heard like sobbing, like you could tell she was in distress. I better stay laying down for safety reasons until the coast is clear to call the cops. Called them, they said, oh, we'll come down. They asked where it was at. They never showed up. I don't know what happened to the girl. I hope she's safe. Because that was scary. And it was bloody murder. And I had to use the restroom. And I was scared because I'm like, I have to get down. You know. Or, you know, I have to go to the restroom. Because my brother, he takes us to the restroom. For those asking how we go to the bathroom, we just go. I'm not going to tell people what we do because I don't need people stalking me or following me and being like, oh, like, you know, or the place you live, why don't you just move to a place you can afford? That doesn't seem logical, you know? Life fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't. And I'm not going to sit here and say having a job would make my life better. I can't pay rent because I wouldn't be able to afford rent. I could pay for 1 week and then be like, oh, how am I going to pay for the next week?
So I guess Tophiachu heard some kind of problem while she was sleeping in her car. That's terrible. I'm not going to comment on that too much. If Tophiachu called the cops immediately, she honestly did the best her and a sickly Mamachu and Brotherchu possibly could have done in that situation. The main thing I wanted to talk on was Tophiachu literally walking herself into a corner, talking about how she wanted to go out of the car and use the bathroom but was too scared. But then she realized that would give too much credit to one part of Squid's story. She couldn't say it, even though a lot of us know where her and the Chu family is using the restroom. Anywhere, just anywhere they're at. And it gets even worse when you think about Tophiachu, who isn't willing to have her brother Chu drive her to work every day. They don't have insurance. You think they're driving to a bathroom every hour? They're not, it's just not happening. But Tophiachu can't say that, so she comes up with some weird situation where Brotherchu would drive her in the middle of the night to some gas station or whatever. It's like, Tophia, you gave us all the pieces to the puzzle, and now you're telling us the picture is wrong? Just maybe don't mention your bathroom habits, and no one will be able to piece it together.
I could tell you where else to go, but you wouldn't like that. No, I'm not going to tell you where to go. Because we are already living there, so never mind. Here is not, I just don't understand. Ooh, excuse me. I'm drinking a soda. Well, we're already in hell, so get used to it. Because the only bags you will be packing will be beyond hell. And I don't know what's beyond hell. You'll pay for a subscription just to be rude. Like, you'll pay for a subscription. I'm lying? You can go to the Literal Apartments website, my old apartment that I used to live at, and see the stupid reviews that people left saying that, oh, someone came to the door and it was this big, smelly girl that was, and her mom and her were sitting on the couch, and we came and they had no clothes on. Like, it just doesn't make sense. That's a stupid lie. You can't mean to tell me the office believed those fake stories.
Like somebody who said you were over there looking at their kid trying to do something, and yet she didn't. The police on you?
Oh yeah, there's a YouTube post. Oh yeah, someone sent me that YouTube post of someone saying I said something to their kid when I'm literally living.
No, at the apartment. It was in the review.
No, but somebody recently made a YouTube. I mean, not a YouTube. They made a Facebook account that claims they're from here, saying that I said something inappropriate to their kid when I live out of a car. How am I going to be in the right mindset to be like, hey, I'm going to say something to someone's kid? I don't even encounter kids because I live out of a car.
After Tophiachu posting about how proud he is of his daughter for watching Corn with her poor dog Hershey, Tophiachu, rightfully so, has been getting tons of people messing with her about this. But since I've not heard any of the recent allegations blow up, I'll guess they're false, the ones she's claiming in this video. But not even in this moment, so many times when Tophiachu actually didn't do anything, she somehow manages to word things the worst way possible, bring up the worst subjects at the worst time, make herself seem guilty as possible. It's like Cyraxx. I've never seen someone, when it's even obvious trolling, that handles it so poorly it makes them seem guilty. I thought only Cyraxx was capable of that, but no, Tophiachu, she's doing the same thing.
The office knows they're not allowed to have anybody stay, so why did they believe that lie? They themselves just literally told on themselves. They found every reason to try to evict us, which was not true.
Like at the apartment review, they were saying that we were leaving all kinds of soda cans by the door when we can't, we get fined.
Yeah, they said you get fined for leaving trash. This is the type of stuff that I talk about. And it's literally incriminating on their part because I have a witness who, if they wanted to testify in court, they could. Listen, that's the sad thing.
All they have to do is go read the reviews of that apartment.
You literally did it to Daniel Larson. You literally did it to Daniel Larson, and you literally did it to World of T-Shirts, Joshua Block. You do it to Shay, right? Which I understand Shay's a horrible person. There's a lot of horrible people, but why must you constantly want to cause people to be evicted and not have a place to stay? I can understand Nick to a certain extent, right? If Nick turned his life around and actually tried to change to be a better person, which I know Nick's situation with him and his girlfriend, and I can't say the word ABUSIN, but in a sense, I don't think it's, I don't know. If you do something bad where you don't get grace, they almost hit that car. Well, they're on private. No job, no home, broken car. My car's not broken. It's actually drivable. The only thing is it just eats up gas. And what of it? Is this how we're to put herself to like tell people to pull up? That's why I don't tell nobody to pull up, because I'm not fighting people like we're in high school. I'm not putting myself out there to be like, pull up, pull up, pull up. I don't need to do all this beefing over the internet. You got your life, I got mine. If you don't like my life choices, then don't like it. How are we applauding a man who lied about him living out of a car and literally treating him like he's the greatest thing on earth since sliced bread? I'm not going back and forth with a teenager who doesn't understand life when they're going to be in the same situation, because they're going to realize she was right. She was right. You don't have a grasp or a sense of reality because you don't live the tough life your parents live. You don't know how hard it is for your parents to have to pay that bill every month and make sure they keep a roof over your head so you could have a place to sleep at night, while you're online bashing a grown adult for not having a place to sleep, when you don't know how hard it is for your people to try to keep a job that they get mistreated at, that they get talked down on, that their boss tells them and gives them loads of shit, and they have to carry it all on their back just to say, you know, it's just one more day. Like, how are you going to sit here and tell people that I use my mom's disability to pay when she doesn't get disability. And the sad thing about it is she can't work. She's hard of hearing. What more do these people need to see for her to be disabled? She has asthma. She has osteoporosis. Her bones are deteriorating. Right? What more? She has bladder problems.
I swear, when any lol cow is trying to guilt trip people about how bad it is viewing them as a cow is, they instantly bring up Daniel Larson, the absolute worst one to bring up. The guy who was crashing out and crushing on Grace way before he started shoving a phone in his face on TikTok. Whether the internet existed or it didn't, Daniel probably wasn't going to end up well. This is on the same level as when the cows throw Tony the Black Dragon under the bus for being a cupcake eater, hoping people will start messing with him again. It's like it doesn't matter about what they did. This is about you and your actions and how they line up with another insane individuals. You should see that as a really bad thing, not something to try and guilt trip your followers about. And World of T-Shirts isn't even homeless. In all reality, out of all the lol cows, he actually makes a lot. But like his contemporary, King Cobra, he just spends his money poorly and lets Mr. Bass keep everything else afloat. If anything, Tophiachu, you should be shooting for World of T-Shirts situation. Mr. Bass would treat her great. At least he wouldn't let her sit on a pillow in his house. But the best part is, while ranting about this, Brotherchus got so caught up in her speech, he's swerving in traffic. And what's great about this isn't the situation. That's not good at all. He should really just focus on the road. But it's how Tophiachu, who later on is going to mention how she can't drive to work because of Brotherchus' insurance and all of that. But still yet, Brotherchus, a guy who can't drive, it's just far too risky, is obviously whipping around New Mexico at the moment. And then, like all positive, great content creators, Tophiachu goes on to tell all of her followers, especially her young ones, how they're going to end up homeless. Real good, Tophia, out here spreading positive vibes to the youth. Even though, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of kids I went to school with didn't end up homeless. Big shocker. Only a select few made some poor choices. And Tophiachu is kind of in that same boat. But her reason is insane. It's because she's like buying video games and needless products. And I can't ignore her. While she was on this rant, Tophia basically told us the squid story was facts. After her earlier revelation and noting Mamachu's bladder problems, basically for the last month at this point, she's been yelling at Squid, making her situation worse for no reason at all. She's pretty much just confirmed it at this point.
Oh, we'll turn the car on here in a minute and run the heater. It is her birthday today. Yep. It's just crazy to me that people think the solution to everything is get a job. That's not going to help pay your car bill, your rent, especially if they want 3 times the rent. And the low-income places, which I know people have sent me low-income places. Let's be for real. In the streets, and people say, oh, you never really cared about your father. But yet here I am renting until we get a house, which would probably be a while. And he's out in the streets in the cold. And we're in a place because he can't live with us because he's on a do not rent list. It's crazy. I'm tired of all this moving. I'm tired of all of this. I'm exhausted. Getting a job is only going to make me more exhausted and want to because, it's stressful. It's literally mentally draining. Getting a job would not help my family get off the streets. If you think that's a solution, then I want you to think that. I'll get a job so I could continuously live out of a car. I don't know how many times I have to tell you because you keep thinking it's an excuse Minimum wage is not enough for me to get a place because they want 3 times the rent. Again, we would have to pay utilities. We wouldn't be able to. We would be riding around in a car with no insurance because we wouldn't be able to afford insurance. Fuck insurance. Like, I'm not going to pay insurance. I'm not going to take public transportation and get on a bus to go anywhere when I can just drive. Gas, on top of that, we would have to pay for gas. Phone bills, things like that. And these resources don't take into the account of everything that we have to go through. Why am I not allowed to enjoy myself when my bill was paid? Mind you, that place, the reason why they asked us to leave was not because of rent issues. They tried to say that we damaged our sheets or something at that place. They tried to lie. Anyways, which I have proof because I took photos. Every place I go, I take photos so that way I have proof for myself because, you know, Comic-Con is not priority. First of all, Comic-Con was never a priority. How do you expect people to live in a motel and be miserable? You expect me to be miserable in a motel? You must be crazy. And I didn't pay a lot of money to go to the second Comic-Con. I didn't pay a lot of money for signatures if you think I did. Actually, the signature that I was going to pay for at the other Comic-Con, the signatures I got. So, I got Mick Foley's signature. The first Comic-Con, I got Tom Kenny's signature. Because instead of Tom Kenny, I was supposed to get Edward James Olmos, who we got his autograph finally. The second time we went, we didn't pay that much for Edward's autograph. The only autograph I didn't get because it was too expensive was Christopher Lloyd's. I did want Christopher Lloyd's because I have a Back to the Future collection. I was going to take it, but his autograph was too expensive. So I ended up getting Bam Margera from Jackass. I got Edward James Olmos. I got, what's his name? Now I'm trying to think. So I paid for all 3 days. It was my mom's first Comic-Con. So I said, let's go enjoy ourselves because, you know, we had a rough time. I don't know why people think that people in a motel are supposed to be miserable and upset. Like, oh, that money could have went towards the house. Okay, well, that's not going to be feasible considering that it would take years upon years to save $600 every month for a house. By the time I would get a house, I would probably be in my 80s. Like, I don't understand why people are supposed to be miserable and not enjoy life. Like, live a little, please.
Do you really think we're gonna walk around and figure you out? Fuck you, dude. Cheers.
Tophiachu's reasoning here is absolutely insane. I'm not surprised Brotherchus is swerving all over the road hearing this nonsense. Tophia, you live in a car. I guarantee you, Brotherchus could find a decent place to park in a decent rest spot close to your job that him and Mamachu could spend the day in waiting to pick you up while he looks for work. You live in a car. All you have to do is be clean and show up. And since you have nothing better to do besides stare a hole in Mamachu's head, why not go to work? But no, don't do that. Tophiachu then goes on to say that with a minimum wage job, she'd only make $1,000 a month. But on TikTok, she'd make $1,200 a month. And if you just literally look at the numbers, of course, it makes sense. Do TikTok over the minimum wage job. But it's TikTok. Do the minimum wage job, you'd have way more to talk about, which would excite all the viewers, the Tophiachu White Knights, and the trolls. You do TikTok after work, but that's way too hard. You know, who wants to do TikTok and work? and get paid for 2 jobs. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Even though Tophiachu goes live like what? 2, 3, 4 times a week, and they're only like 2 or 3 hours long. But obviously Tophiachu isn't concerned about her family, because you know guys, I'm not really sure what Papachu is doing. Tophia makes it sound like he's free and literally homeless in New Mexico, which if that's the case, it's just god awful on their part. While they drive around, you know, just living it up in Brotherchu's car, living the good life. But, you know, I don't think that's what's going on. I'm pretty sure Tophiachu just misspoke. I'm pretty sure Papachu's in jail, and Tophiachu's just talking about when he's out. But I could be wrong. You guys can correct me in the comments. But it's never really made any sense to me how Tophiachu keeps bringing up how Papachu is on the do not rent list. And yeah, anyone who's trying to rent a house to somebody, it makes sense. Not many owners want an occupant to be burning green Carlsons on the daily, but I'd imagine Tophiachu could have probably helped more than she lets on. She's 30 years old, guys. Most people don't realize how old Tophiachu is, but no, homies. Going to a Comic-Con is so much more important than paying rent, helping out for her family. Instead of all that, you gotta get wrestlers to give you their autograph. And I can only imagine, apparently Tophiachu had a voucher, if you didn't hear that part, so she could get a free one. So one pro wrestler, or maybe anyone at that event, but specifically she had to use it on a pro wrestler. And she uses it on the worst possible person. An old retired legend, Sergeant Slaughter. I remember being a kid and seeing Sergeant Slaughter. I was like, yeah, that's for America. And apparently Tophiachu was thinking the same thing. But it's like, she used this free voucher on him. Out of anybody, this guy, he probably needs the autograph fees. But, Tophiachu uses it on him. And then she later on goes to say that she got an autograph from Bam Margera. Like, use it on Bam. Who's a better person to use it on than Bam? Someone who probably uses the autograph fees to do something bad with his life. Like, Sergeant Slaughter is like 70 or 80 years old. He needs that stuff.
Because I haven't been live or consistent going live, so I understand why I lost some subscribers. We're at like 40. But on my main, I'm going to get paid on top of getting paid on here. Hopefully, if I make over the threshold for it to cash out. I've made over $10,000 plus all throughout social media. I've made more on here than I did working at Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, I only made $200. I had to give $100 to my dad because obviously I lived with him at the time. $50 went to my phone bill because I had a phone bill. I used to have Metro PCS, so $50 went to my phone bill and $50 went for me to have spending money. That's the highest I ever got paid at Dunkin'. My brother has made more money than I have because he worked a job that paid really well. I haven't had luck. The only job I was able to get was Dunkin' because I didn't get that job. My dad got me that job. He talked to the lady at Dunkin' and she was like, I need to put you in my portable charger. Yeah, he talked to the lady and the lady was like, I'll hire you, but she said, I'll hire you, but you're gonna have to do the interview still. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So we did the interview, but she did hire me. And when you work at Dunkin', you have to take a test. Boo-hoo, get a real job while I pay taxes on all the money that I make on here, so that's a job. I have to pay taxes. Mind you, anything you guys send through Cash App, I have to pay taxes on that too. I made way more on social media than I did working a job. I'm not going back to have a boss tell me what to do and then treat me horribly or get mad because I chose not to come into work on my day off. Because they gave me off only to call me back in and say, you gotta come in on your day off. No, thank you. You can't take time. You can't take a vacation. You can't go to a concert. You can't take days off. Like, nah. What? Are you crazy? I made way more on social media than I did working a job. I'm not going back to have a boss tell me what to do and then treat me horribly or get mad because I chose not to come into work on my day off because they gave me off only to call me back in and say, you gotta come in on your day off. No, thank you. You can't take time. You can't take a vacation. You can't go to a concert. You can't take days off. Like, nah. What? Are you crazy? You can have it. You can have all the stress of a job. You can't say no. If you say no, you get fired. If they call and ask you to come in on your day off, some jobs will fire you and say, well, we'll find someone else who will come in. It's not that easy like people think it is. Anyways, that's that.
So, by the way it sounds, Tophiachu was a 5-hour worker a week. 5 hours. And when one of the reliable employees gets sick, they call in and the manager calls the people who never work and say, hey, would you like this shift? Which basically means, would you like your job to continue because you never work, you have nothing to do? Obviously, since the fact you only work 5 hours a week, unless you specifically put into that manager that, you have like another job or something else like that, or other priorities. But Tophiachu didn't do that. So of course, when one of the more reliable employees call in and the manager calls Tophiachu, probably the last choice on her list, and says, hey, will you come in? And Tophiachu says, no, I'm busy. And the manager can only think, well, great. Now I've got to go ruin my day off and go in and work for this guy. Or worse of all, work a double. So of course, Tophiachu, you're going to be on the chopping block. You was one of the employees they barely trusted in the first place. Papachu talked you into this job. So now, when you don't go in for work, they're going to say, alright, well this girl isn't worth it at all. Let's find someone who at least, if we barely trust at all, might have a will to work, might want to do it a little bit, earn some cash, be a body. But no, Tophiachu, she doesn't understand that. And like I said in the last video, it's probably because she's only ever worked one job. But I guess that's enough for me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like. And if you haven't already, leave a sub. Follow the socials down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.